The human girl slapped the forgotten throne as a joke. Then the sky filled with dragons. Before we dive into this story, drop a quick hi in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. It really helps support the channel. The ancient ruins stood silent under the alien sun, a testament to a civilization long forgotten, where a young human explorer named Lily Barrett was about to change everything. Lily wiped sweat from her brow as she trudged through the overgrown ruins. The archaeological expedition to Proxima Centauri B had been her dream since graduating top of her class, but 3 weeks of cataloging moss-covered stones had dulled her enthusiasm. The rest of the team was back at base camp, poring over the day's findings, but Lily had slipped away to explore. Dr. Hayes would kill me if she knew I was out here alone, Lily muttered to herself, stepping carefully over a fallen column. Her boots crunched on gravel as she ventured deeper into the uncharted section of the ruins. The planet's twin moons cast an eerie blue glow over the landscape, illuminating a structure she hadn't noticed before. Unlike the crumbling buildings they'd been studying, this one stood remarkably intact. A pyramid-like edifice with smooth, obsidian walls that seemed to absorb the moonlight. Curiosity piqued, Lily approached the structure. A narrow entrance beckoned, and against her better judgment, she switched on her headlamp and ducked inside. The beam of light revealed a cavernous chamber, its walls adorned with intricate carvings unlike anything the expedition had documented. Lily fumbled for her tablet, hands trembling with excitement as she began recording. Unidentified structure in Sector 7, she dictated. Architecture suggests ceremonial purpose, distinct from utilitarian buildings in the main settlement. As Lily moved deeper into the chamber, her light fell upon an object that made her breath catch. At the center of the room, elevated on a dais of the same black stone, sat a throne. Not the crude stone seats they'd found in other buildings, but an ornate chair that seemed impossibly out of place. It gleamed with an inner light, fashioned from a material that resembled metal and crystal simultaneously, catching her headlamp's beam and fracturing it into prismatic patterns across the walls. "This is incredible," Lily whispered, approaching slowly. The throne was massive, clearly designed for a being larger than human, its high back adorned with what appeared to be stylized wings or flames. She circled it cautiously, recording every detail. Strange symbols ran along the armrests, similar to the written language they'd been struggling to decipher. But these seemed different somehow, sharper, more urgent. "Dr. Hayes is going to freak out when she sees this," Lily said, grinning as she imagined her mentor's reaction. This find could rewrite everything they thought they knew about the extinct civilization. After thoroughly documenting the throne from every angle, Lily found herself standing before it, wondering who had sat there. Had they been kings? Priests? Something else entirely? On impulse, she reached out to touch the strange material. It felt warm beneath her fingers, almost alive. A faint vibration hummed through the metal, as if responding to her touch. "Okay, that's weird," she said, but curiosity overcame caution. She slid her hand along the armrest, feeling the symbols beneath her palm. The vibration intensified. A wild thought struck her, and she laughed at her own foolishness. "What if," she said, positioning herself in front of the throne. "Your Majesty," she added with a theatrical bow. The gesture felt ridiculous in the empty chamber, and Lily chuckled at her own imagination. The stories they'd pieced together suggested this civilization had collapsed millennia ago, victims of some cataclysmic event. Whatever power this throne once held had died with them. "I hereby claim this throne in the name of humanity," she declared with mock solemnity, then playfully slapped the seat of the throne. "And I banish all who oppose me too." The words died in her throat as the throne began to glow. The symbols along the armrests ignited with blue fire, and the vibration she'd felt earlier surged to a bone-rattling intensity. Lily stumbled backward, nearly dropping her tablet as the entire chamber began to tremble. Dust rained from the ceiling as a low, rumbling sound filled the air. "Oh shit," she breathed, backing toward the entrance. "What did I do?" Before she could reach the doorway, A blinding light erupted from the throne, shooting upward through an opening in the ceiling she hadn't noticed before. The beam cut through the night sky like a beacon, bathing the ruins in harsh blue light. Lily shielded her eyes, heart hammering in her chest. When the light faded enough for her to see, she noticed the symbols on the throne had changed, rearranged themselves into new patterns that pulsed with energy. Her communicator crackled to life, Dr. Olivia Hayes's voice cutting through static. "Barrett, what the hell is going on? Where are you?" Lily fumbled for the device. "I'm in Sector 7. There's a structure, a temple or something, with a throne inside. I touched it and—" "Get back to camp now." Dr. Hayes interrupted, her voice tight with urgency. "Something's happening in the atmosphere. The readings are off the charts." As if on cue, the ground beneath Lily's feet shuddered. She staggered out of the chamber, nearly falling as she emerged into the open air. The night sky, which had been clear moments before, was now churning with clouds that spiraled around the beam of light still emanating from the temple. "I don't think I can make it back," Lily said, watching in horror as the clouds began to take shape. "Something's coming." "What do you mean, something's coming?" Dr. Hayes demanded. Lily couldn't answer. Her voice froze as the first massive form broke through the clouds, a sinuous body with powerful wings that caught the moonlight on iridescent scales. Another followed, then another, until the sky was filled with them. "Dragons," Lily whispered, the word feeling absurd even as she said it. But there was no other way to describe the creatures circling above the ruins, their long bodies twisting through the air with impossible grace. "Barrett, you're not making sense," Dr. Hayes said. "What's—" The communication cut off abruptly. Lily stood rooted to the spot, unable to run as one of the creatures descended toward her. It was enormous, easily the length of 3 transport shuttles, with scales that shifted between midnight blue and deep purple. Eyes like molten gold fixed on her with unmistakable intelligence. The dragon, because what else could she call it, landed with surprising delicacy on the temple roof, folding its massive wings as it regarded her. Lily felt the weight of its gaze like a physical thing, pressing her into stillness. Then, impossibly, she heard a voice in her mind. Asterisk at last. "The summoner arrives, asterisk." The words weren't in any language Lily knew, yet she understood them perfectly, resonating directly in her consciousness. I didn't mean to summon anything," she stammered, unsure if the creature could even hear her spoken words. "It was an accident." A sound like thunder rolled from the dragon's chest. Laughter, she realized with shock. Asterisk, there are no accidents in matters of the throne. You have awakened what has slumbered for millennia. Asterisk. More dragons were landing now, perching on the ruins around them. Lily counted at least 12, each distinct in coloration and size, but all watching her with the same golden eyes. "Who are you?" she managed to ask. "What are you?" The great dragon before her lowered its head until its snout was mere meters from where she stood. Lily could feel heat radiating from its body, smelled something like ozone and cinnamon. Asterisk, we are the Kondarai, guardians of this world before your kind learned to make fire. We have waited for one who could activate the throne of binding. Asterisk. But I just slapped it, Lily said, then winced at how ridiculous that sounded. I mean, I didn't do anything special. Asterisk, yet the throne responded to you, human child. This has not happened since the vanishing. Asterisk. Another dragon, smaller than the first with scales of burnished copper, moved forward. Asterisk, she bears no marks of power, Velrian. She is not of the ancients. Asterisk. The first dragon, Velrian, apparently, turned its massive head toward the copper one. Asterisk, yet she succeeded where the ancients failed, Terex. The throne has chosen. Asterisk. Lily's mind reeled, trying to process what was happening. Chosen for what? She asked, her voice stronger now, fueled by scientific curiosity overriding fear. What is the throne of binding? Before either dragon could answer, a new sound cut through the night, the whine of engines. Lily turned to see 2 research hoppers approaching from the direction of base camp, their searchlights sweeping across the ruins. The dragons hissed in unison, wings unfurling as they prepared to take flight. Your kind approaches, Valerian observed. They will not understand what has begun here. Wait, Lily called as the great dragon tensed to launch itself skyward. I don't understand either. You can't just leave. Valerian's golden eyes fixed on her once more. Asterisk return to the throne when the moons align. We will be waiting, summoner. Asterisk. With that, the massive creature sprang into the air with a powerful downbeat of its wings that nearly knocked Lily off her feet. The other dragons followed, a spectacular procession of scales and wings that quickly disappeared into the swirling clouds. By the time the hoppers reached her position, the sky was clear again, as if the dragons had never existed. Only the beam of light from the temple remained, a stark reminder that Lily hadn't imagined it all. Dr. Olivia Hayes was the first to reach her, leaping from the hopper before it had properly landed. She was a formidable woman in her 50s, with steel-gray hair pulled back in a severe bun and eyes that missed nothing. Right now, those eyes were wide with a mixture of anger and concern. "Barrett, what in the name of all that scientific did you do?" she demanded, gripping Lily's shoulders. The atmospheric readings went crazy, and then that light. She broke off, noticing the beam still shooting into the sky. "What is that?" "It's coming from a throne inside the temple," Lily explained, pointing to the structure behind her. "I found it and activated it somehow." Dr. Hayes's gaze sharpened. "You touched an alien artifact without proper protocol? After everything I've taught you." "I know. I'm sorry. But Dr. Hayes, there were dragons," Lily blurted out. "Real, living dragons that talked to me telepathically. They called themselves the Kondarai." A look of alarm crossed her mentor's face, but not the kind Lily expected. Not disbelief, but recognition. "The Kondarai," Dr. Hayes repeated softly. "They've returned, then." The council was right. Lily stared at her mentor in shock. You know about them?" "How?" Dr. Hayes straightened, her professional demeanor returning. "That's classified information, Barrett. Information you're not cleared to know." She turned to the other researchers who had gathered around them. "Secure the area. No one enters that structure without my authorization." "But Dr. Hayes," Lily protested, "they spoke to me. They called me the summoner. They said to return to the throne when the moons align." "Enough," Dr. Hayes snapped, then lowered her voice. "Not here, Barrett. Not now." Her expression softened slightly. "You've stumbled into something much bigger than you realize. For now, you need to come back to base camp. We have protocols for this situation." "Protocols for dragon encounters?" Lily asked incredulously. "For first contact scenarios," Dr. Hayes corrected, guiding her toward the hopper. "Though I admit, none of our simulations involved mythological creatures." As they boarded the hopper, Lily glanced back at the temple, the beam of light still piercing the night sky. Something told her that her discovery had changed everything, not just for the expedition, but possibly for humanity itself. The journey back to base camp passed in a blur. Lily's mind raced with questions, but Dr. Hayes remained tight-lipped, speaking only to issue instructions to the rest of the team via communicator. The other researchers kept stealing glances at Lily, their expressions ranging from curiosity to concern. Base camp was in controlled chaos when they arrived. Equipment had been hastily secured, and several military-grade defense drones now hovered at the perimeter, standard protocol for unexpected situations, but Lily had never seen them activated before. Dr. Hayes ushered her directly to the command module, dismissing the other researchers with a curt nod. Once inside, she sealed the door and activated the privacy protocols. "Sit," she instructed, gesturing to a chair while she took the one opposite. For a long moment, she studied Lily in silence, as if reassessing everything she thought she knew about her young protégé. "You really saw them?" she finally asked. "The Kondarai?" Lily nodded, still processing the reality herself. "At least a dozen. Massive, with scales and wings. They spoke directly into my mind." Dr. Hayes sighed heavily. "Then it's true. The legends weren't exaggerations." "What legends?" Lily leaned forward. "You knew about these creatures before we came here?" "Not me personally," Dr. Hayes said. But yes, there have been theories about this planet for decades. Why do you think this expedition was approved so quickly? Why the generous funding? The realization dawned on Lily slowly. This wasn't just an archaeological mission, was it? It was always archaeological, Dr. Hayes clarified, but with secondary objectives. We've been searching for evidence of the Kandari since we first detected this planet. But how? How could Earth legends know about creatures on a planet 4 light-years away? Dr. Hayes smiled thinly. Who said the legends originated on Earth? Before Lily could process that bombshell, Dr. Hayes reached into her pocket and removed a small metallic disc. She placed it on the table between them and pressed her thumb to its surface. A holographic display sprang to life, showing a series of symbols that looked eerily similar to those Lily had seen on the throne. Recognize these? Dr. Hayes asked. They were on the throne, Lily confirmed. But different somehow. When I touched it, they rearranged themselves. Of course they did, Dr. Hayes murmured. She manipulated the hologram, expanding one particular symbol. This one here, did you see it? The symbol looked like a stylized human hand with 5 fingers spread wide. Yes, Lily said. It was on the right armrest. Dr. Hayes nodded, as if this confirmed something important. Barrett, what I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest levels. If you repeat it without authorization, it's not just your career at stake, but potentially your freedom. Lily swallowed hard but nodded. I understand. Humanity isn't native to Earth. The statement hung in the air between them, so outlandish that Lily almost laughed. But Dr. Hayes's expression remained deadly serious. That's impossible, Lily said. We evolved there. The fossil record is comprehensive, yes, Dr. Hayes interrupted, but not complete. There are gaps, anomalies that have never been satisfactorily explained. And then there's this. She gestured to the hologram. These symbols have been found in ruins across Earth, in Egypt, Mesopotamia, Peru, China, always in the oldest archaeological sites, always hidden from casual discovery. Lily's mind raced, trying to fit this new information into everything she thought she knew. Are you saying humans came from Proxima Centauri B? No, Dr. Hayes said. I'm saying that whoever created that throne knew about humans, expected humans, long before we evolved on Earth. The question is why and how. Before Lily could respond, an alarm blared throughout the camp. Dr. Hayes's comm unit activated automatically. Hayes here, she answered sharply. Doctor, we're detecting multiple aerial contacts approaching from the south, a tense voice reported. Too large to be birds, moving too fast to be. The Kandari, Dr. Hayes concluded. Activate Protocol Cerberus, but no offensive measures. I repeat, no offensive measures. Yes, Doctor. ETA 3 minutes. Dr. Hayes rose swiftly. Come with me, Barrett. It seems your dragon friends didn't want to wait for the moons to align after all. They hurried outside, where the rest of the expedition team had gathered, faces turned skyward. Lily followed their gaze and gasped. The dragons were returning, their massive forms clearly visible against the darkening sky. But they weren't alone. Behind them, emerging from the clouds, came something else. A structure so vast it seemed impossible it could stay airborne. A floating city of spires and terraces, glowing with the same blue light as the throne. The citadel, Dr. Hayes breathed, her composed demeanor cracking for the first time. It's really real. The dragons circled the camp, their wing beats creating gusts of wind that whipped through the hastily secured equipment. The largest, Valrian, Lily recognized, descended to land at the perimeter, just beyond the defense drones, which hovered uncertainly, their weapons systems active but not targeting. Summoner, the familiar voice echoed in Lily's mind. Asterisk, bring your elder to us. We have much to discuss. Asterisk. Without thinking, Lily stepped forward, but Dr. Hayes caught her arm. Barrett, wait. We don't know their intentions. They could have destroyed us already if they wanted to, Lily pointed out. And they called you my elder. I think they want to talk to you too. Dr. Hayes hesitated, then nodded. Very well. But we follow first contact protocols. No sudden movements, no threatening gestures. Together, They approached the massive dragon, the rest of the expedition team watching in stunned silence. Up close, Valerian was even more impressive. Each scale the size of Lily's palm, the golden eyes larger than her head. The waiting ends today, Valerian communicated, the mental voice resonating in both their minds now. The throne has awakened, and with it, the binding between our peoples. What binding? Dr. Hayes asked carefully. We have no record of any agreement between humans and your kind. The dragon's head tilted slightly, a surprisingly human gesture of curiosity. Asterisk, yet you sought us. You came to this world knowing what might be found. Asterisk. We had theories, Dr. Hayes admitted. Ancient texts, symbols found on our world that matched transmissions we detected from this planet. But nothing concrete until now. The ancients ensured knowledge would survive, fragmented but preserved, Valerian explained. They knew that one day, their children would return to fulfill the covenant. Their children? Lily asked, the implications dawning on her. Are you saying that humans are descended from people who once lived here? The ones you call the ancients? Asterisk yes and no, young summoner. The truth is more complex than your language can easily express. Asterisk. The great dragon's gaze shifted to the floating city now hovering directly above them, casting the entire camp in blue light. Asterisk come. The elders await. The story of your origin must be told in full. Asterisk. We can't just go with them, Dr. Hayes said to Lily in a low voice. The risks. Dr. Hayes, Lily interrupted, a certainty filling her that she couldn't explain. I think this is why we're here. Why humanity came to this planet. Don't you want to know the truth? Before her mentor could respond, more dragons descended, forming a circle around them. One, with scales of pale silver, lowered its body in what was clearly an invitation to climb onto its back. We offer safe passage to the citadel, Valerian explained. There, all questions will be answered. Dr. Hayes looked from the dragons to the floating city, then back to the expectant faces of her research team. Lily could see the scientist in her warring with the cautious expedition leader. Dr. Hayes, Lily said quietly, when the moons align. I think that's tonight. I was supposed to return to the throne. But maybe this is better. Maybe we're meant to go to them instead. After a long moment, Dr. Hayes straightened her shoulders and addressed the team. Connor, you're in charge until we return. Maintain regular communication checks. If you don't hear from us every 30 minutes, initiate emergency protocols. Yes, doctor, the senior researcher acknowledged, his face pale but determined. Dr. Hayes turned back to Lily. I hope you realize that if we survive this, the paperwork for violating first contact protocols will take the rest of our careers to complete. Despite everything, Lily found herself grinning. Worth it if we discover humanity's true origins, don't you think? With that, they approached the waiting silver dragon. Up close, its scales reminded Lily of mother of pearl, reflecting rainbow hues in the fading light. I am Nerith, a gentle female voice spoke in their minds. I will bear you safely to the citadel. With surprising grace for such a massive creature, Nerith lowered her foreleg to create a step. Lily went first, scrambling up onto the dragon's broad shoulders where the scales were smaller and smoother, forming a natural saddle. She reached down to help Dr. Hayes, who climbed up with remarkable agility for a woman her age. Hold fast, Nerith advised as she tensed beneath them. Lily gripped the ridge of scales in front of her just as the dragon launched into the air. The sudden acceleration pushed her back against Dr. Hayes, who had wrapped her arms firmly around Lily's waist. The ground fell away with dizzying speed as Nerith's powerful wings carried them upward. The sensation was unlike anything Lily had ever experienced, not like the controlled ascent of a hopper or shuttle, but wild and exhilarating. Wind rushed past her face as they climbed higher, the research camp shrinking to a cluster of tiny lights below. Around them, the other dragons formed an escort, their bodies sinuous and graceful in flight. Above, the floating city grew larger, its impossible architecture becoming clearer. What had looked like a single structure from the ground revealed itself, as dozens of smaller buildings connected by bridges and terraces, all suspended in midair without visible means of support. As they approached, a section of the underside opened like an iris, revealing a circular landing platform bathed in that same blue light. Nerith banked toward it, her wings adjusting to slow their approach. With surprising gentleness, she alighted on the platform, lowering herself to allow her passengers to dismount. Lily's legs trembled as she slid from the dragon's back, partly from the exhilaration of flight, partly from the enormity of what was happening. Dr. Hayes landed beside her, her usual composure somewhat ruffled but quickly recovering. "Thank you for the transport," she said formally to Nerith, ever the diplomat. The silver dragon dipped her head in acknowledgement before taking flight again, joining the others who circled the citadel like a living constellation. Lily and Dr. Hayes found themselves alone on the platform, which began to rise, carrying them up into the heart of the floating city. As the opening below them closed, Lily felt a moment of panic. They were now completely committed to whatever awaited them. "Stay calm," Dr. Hayes murmured, though whether to Lily or herself wasn't clear. "Remember your training." "My training didn't cover dragon riding or floating cities," Lily pointed out. "Improvise, then," Dr. Hayes replied with a hint of her usual dry humor. The platform stopped its ascent, and a doorway materialized in what had appeared to be a solid wall. Beyond it lay a corridor of the same black stone as the temple, illuminated by floating orbs of blue light. "Follow the path," Velrian's voice instructed in their minds, though the great dragon was nowhere to be seen. "The council awaits." With a shared glance of determination, Lily and Dr. Hayes stepped through the doorway and into the unknown heart of the citadel, where the answers to humanity's greatest questions and Lily's unexpected role in awakening them awaited. The corridor stretched before them, curving gently as it led deeper into the citadel. With each step, Lily felt a growing sense of anticipation mingled with dread. What awaited them could rewrite human history or end it. "This architecture," Dr. Hayes murmured, running her hand along the smooth black wall. "The composition is unlike anything in our records." "Focus, Dr. Hayes," Lily said with a nervous laugh. "We can study the building materials after we find out why dragons think humans are their long-lost relatives." The corridor widened suddenly, opening into a vast circular chamber that took Lily's breath away. The ceiling arched high above them, a perfect dome inlaid with what looked like a map of stars. The floor was the same obsidian material, polished to mirror-like perfection, creating the illusion of walking through space itself. At the center of the chamber stood another throne, identical to the one Lily had found in the ruins, but intact and pulsing with blue energy. Behind it, arranged in a semicircle, were 7 pedestals of varying heights. On each perched a dragon, smaller than Velrian and the others they'd seen, but no less magnificent. "The Council of 7, Dr. Hayes breathed. One of the dragons, emerald green with silver markings along its spine, dipped its head in acknowledgement. "Welcome, children of the ancients," a voice resonated in their minds. "I am Thalier, first speaker of the Kandari Council. You stand in the Chamber of Awakening, where the covenant between our peoples was forged long ago. Lily stepped forward. "I'm Lily Barrett. This is Dr. Olivia Hayes. We represent the United Earth Scientific Corps. I'm the one who touched the throne. We know who you are, Lily Barrett. The throne of binding recognized you, as it was designed to do. Designed to recognize me specifically?" Lily asked, confused. "How is that possible? Not you as an individual, but you as a descendant. The throne responds to certain genetic markers, what your kind might call DNA. Markers that identify you as children of the ancients. The ancients," Dr. Hayes interjected. "You keep referring to them. Who were they?" A dragon with scales of burnished bronze raised its head. "They were the travelers, the bridge builders, the ones who seeded the stars with life," this new voice explained, feminine and lyrical. "I am Lysandra, keeper of histories. It falls to me to tell you of your inheritance. The chamber darkened, and the star map on the ceiling began to move. Constellations shifted, zooming in on a particular star system that Lily recognized immediately: Sol, Earth's sun. 20,000 of your years ago, Lysandra continued. The ancients were a race at the height of their civilization. They had mastered travel between stars, terraformed worlds to suit their needs, and cultivated relationships with many sentient species across this arm of the galaxy. We Kandari were among the first they encountered, and among the few they treated as equals. Images formed in the air, cities of impossible beauty, vehicles that seemed to bend space around them, and beings that looked almost, but not quite, human. For millennia, their civilization flourished. But as with all things, balance eventually falters. The images changed, showing dark storms sweeping across planets, structures crumbling, stars flaring with unusual activity. They called it the Great Instability, a series of solar flares and gravitational anomalies that threatened all life in nearby systems. The ancient scientists determined that the phenomenon would spread, engulfing their entire civilization within generations. A natural disaster? Dr. Hayes asked. Or something else? The Kandari believe it was natural, the universe's way of maintaining equilibrium. The ancients believed they might have triggered it themselves through their manipulation of space-time. What does this have to do with us? Lily asked. With humans? Everything, Thalia answered. Facing extinction, the ancients enacted their final and greatest project, the preservation of their species. The star map zoomed in on Earth, showing it as it might have appeared thousands of years ago. Earth was one of several worlds selected for the seeding. The ancients modified their own genetic material to create adaptations suited to each world's specific conditions. On your Earth, they introduced these modified genetics into the most promising native species, early primates who showed potential for higher development. You're saying humans are genetically engineered? Dr. Hayes whispered. In part, Lysandra confirmed. The ancients accelerated what might have taken millions of years of natural evolution. They imprinted certain cognitive structures, predispositions toward language and tool use, and, most importantly, the capacity to eventually rediscover their legacy. But why? Lily asked. Why not just relocate to Earth themselves if it was safe from this instability? The instability moved faster than their evacuation plans, Thalia explained. And Earth was not yet suited for their physiology. The seeding was a desperate measure, a way to ensure some version of their species would survive even if they could not. And the Kandari? Dr. Hayes asked. What was your role in all this? We were entrusted with guardianship, a new voice spoke. A crimson dragon with obsidian horns. I am Corvith, keeper of oaths. Our ancestors swore to watch over the seeded worlds until the children of the ancients returned to claim their inheritance. What inheritance? Lily asked. As if in answer, the throne at the center of the chamber flared with renewed intensity. The star map above them expanded, highlighting dozens of star systems. Knowledge, Thalia said simply. Technology beyond your current understanding. Star charts to worlds the ancients prepared for you. And most crucially, the means to avoid the same fate that befell them. Dr. Hayes stepped forward. You've been waiting all this time? 20,000 years. The Kandari are long-lived by your standards, Lysandra explained. And we entered periods of hibernation, awakening only to check on your progress. The Throne of Binding was designed to activate when humanity reached a specific technological threshold, the ability to travel between stars. But I just slapped it, Lily said, embarrassed. I didn't do anything special. Corvith made a rumbling sound that translated as amusement. The gesture was irrelevant. It was your genetic signature that mattered. The throne detected ancient markers in your DNA, stronger than most of your kind. You are what they called a legacy bearer. Before any of the dragons could elaborate, a tremor ran through the citadel. The lights flickered, and the star map above them distorted momentarily. Unexpected, Thalia said, a note of concern in his mental voice. The awakening appears to be progressing faster than anticipated. Another tremor, stronger this time, shook the chamber. Lily stumbled, catching herself against the edge of the throne. At her touch, the blue energy surged, racing up her arm like electrical current. She tried to pull away, but her hand seemed fused to the obsidian surface. Lily, Dr. Hayes rushed toward her, but was held back by an invisible barrier that sprang up around the throne. The binding has begun, Corvith announced. Earlier than we expected, but the process cannot be halted once initiated. What's happening to her? Dr. Hayes demanded. The energy flowing through Lily wasn't painful, exactly, but overwhelming, like trying to contain an ocean in a teacup. Images flashed through her mind faster than she could process. Star charts, equations, technological schematics, and histories of civilizations she'd never heard of. She is receiving the first imprint, Lysandra explained. Asterisk the stored knowledge of the ancients, passed down through the throne of binding. It should have been a gradual process, conducted over months with proper preparation. Asterisk. Then stop it, Dr. Hayes shouted. It's too much for her. We cannot, Thalia said regretfully. Asterisk the process is automated, a safeguard built into the throne itself. But fear not, Lily Barrett's genetic profile indicates strong compatibility. She will survive. Asterisk. With tremendous effort, Lily focused her thoughts enough to speak. They're still here, she gasped. The ancients, they found a way. The chamber fell silent. Explain, Thalia finally commanded. Not physically, Lily managed, her voice strained. But their consciousness, they encoded it into the data stream. They've been waiting for someone who could receive them. Impossible, Corvith declared. Asterisk the ancients perished. We witnessed their final transmissions. Asterisk. Not all of them, Lily insisted. A group found a way to preserve their minds digitally. They've been dormant within the throne network, waiting for the system to reactivate. And they're waking up now. The blue energy surrounding the throne intensified, spreading across the floor in branching patterns like circuitry. The star map above them shifted again, spinning wildly, constellations blurring into streaks of light. This was not part of the covenant, Corvith growled. The ancients promised us guardianship, not their return. They're not trying to take control, Lily said. They want to help, to guide humanity through what's coming. Before she could explain further, the air in the center of the chamber shimmered and coalesced into a figure. It appeared human in basic form, bipedal, with 2 arms and a head, but taller and more slender, with features that seemed to shift subtly when not directly observed. Its skin had a luminous quality, as if lit from within. Greetings, children of our legacy, the figure spoke. I am Ilarion, architect of the seeding project and last prime consul of the ancient Concordat. The dragons had gone utterly still, their golden eyes fixed on the apparition. This violates our agreement, Thalia finally said. The ancients were to guide through knowledge left behind, not through direct intervention. Ilarion turned to the Emerald Dragon. Circumstances have changed, honored guardian. The great instability returns, earlier than our models predicted. Without direct intervention, all our work, and yours, will have been for nothing. The instability that destroyed your civilization is coming back. Dr. Hayes asked, how is that possible? It never truly ended, Ilarion explained. It merely slept, as we did. Our final calculations showed a cyclical pattern, approximately 25,000 of your years between peaks of activity. But something accelerated it, Lily said, the knowledge unfolding in her mind. Human activity, our experiments with faster-than-light travel. Yes, Ilarion's form shimmered with what might have been sadness. The same mistake we made. Tearing the fabric of space-time creates ripples that, over time, become waves. These waves disturb the fundamental forces binding stars and planets in their orbits. Dr. Hayes stepped forward. Are you saying our FTL program is dangerous? That we need to abandon interstellar travel? Not abandon, Ilarion corrected gently. Modify. The knowledge we've imparted to your colleague includes safer methods of traversing space, ways to move between stars without tearing the underlying fabric. Lily nodded, fragments of understanding crystallizing in her chaotic thoughts. Slip-space technology, she said, using existing folds in space-time rather than creating artificial ones. Yes. Alarian's form brightened with approval. You comprehend quickly, legacy bearer. This is why you were chosen. I wasn't chosen, Lily protested. I just happened to be the one who found the throne. There are no coincidences in matters of such importance, Alarian said. Your genetic profile was identified by our monitoring systems years ago. Events were nudged to ensure you would be part of this expedition. What exactly do you want from us? Lily asked. From humanity? We offer partnership, guidance, the knowledge to avoid our fate, and to take your rightful place among the stars. In return, we ask for the opportunity to exist alongside you, not as rulers or even as physical beings, but as advisors. And what of the Kandari? Thalia asked. What becomes of our covenant? Alarian turned to the Dragon Council. Honored guardians, your oath is fulfilled. We offer you freedom, to remain as allies or to chart your own course among the stars. The dragons communicated silently among themselves. Finally, Thalia spoke for them all. Asterisk, the Kandari do not abandon oaths lightly. If a new covenant is to be forged between ancients and their children, we wish to be part of it. Not as guardians this time, but as equal partners in facing what is to come. Asterisk. Your wisdom honors us, as it always has, Alarian said. Together, then. Dr. Hayes stepped forward. This all sounds momentous. But what happens now, specifically? The immediate need is to halt your current FDL experiments, Alarian said. They are causing damage with each test. Beyond that, a delegation must return to Earth with the knowledge we've provided, schematics for safer technologies, warnings about the instability, and proof of what we've shown you here. The ancient gestured, and part of the chamber wall slid away, revealing a small crystalline cube that pulsed with the same blue energy as the throne. This contains a fraction of our collective knowledge, enough to demonstrate the validity of our claims without overwhelming your scientists. And what about me? Lily asked. What happens to all this information you've put in my head? It will integrate gradually, Alarian assured her. Your mind is now connected to our network. You can access the knowledge as needed without being overwhelmed by it. You are, in effect, the first of a new generation of humans, a bridge between what humanity is now and what it may become. Am I still me? Still human? Lily asked. You are entirely human, Lily Barrett. We have added to you, not subtracted. Your memories, personality, and free will remain your own. After further discussion, they prepared to return to the research camp. Thalia agreed to accompany them as a representative of the Kandari Council. The journey back was filled with contemplative silence. As they approached the camp, Lily could see the team gathered outside, pointing upward at the approaching dragons. This is going to be quite the debriefing session, Dr. Hayes commented dryly as Thalia began his descent. Inside the command module, Dr. Hayes outlined what they had discovered. When she finished, all eyes turned to Lily. So this knowledge transfer, Connor said slowly, you're saying it's given you access to technology thousands of years beyond our current capabilities? Lily nodded. It's still sorting itself out in my mind, but yes. Faster than light travel, energy production, medical advances, and most importantly, the means to prevent the instability that destroyed the ancients. To demonstrate, Lily accessed the knowledge she needed and modified their holographic projector to display a complete interactive model of the Proxima Centauri system, including gravitational fields, radiation patterns, and subtle distortions in space-time that their instruments had never been able to detect. This is a real-time model, Lily explained as her colleagues stared in wonder. And this, she manipulated the display, zooming out to show their home system, is Sol, with the same measurements. Notice these ripples? Those are from our FTL experiments. Small now, but growing. Each test creates more disruption. By the time the briefing ended, Even the most skeptical members of the team had been convinced that something extraordinary had occurred. They began preparations for an emergency return to Earth. As Lily supervised the loading of their equipment, Thalia approached. "Your people accept the truth more readily than we expected," he observed. "They're scientists," Lily explained. "Evidence speaks louder than preconceptions. And you're pretty compelling evidence. Asterisk as are you, Lily Barrett. You have changed since the binding, subtly, but significantly. Asterisk." She glanced up at the dragon curiously. "Changed how?" Asterisk, your energy signature has aligned more closely with that of the ancients. You are becoming a bridge between what was and what will be. Asterisk. The notion should have frightened her, but somehow it didn't. "Well," she said with a wry smile, "I always wanted my archaeology work to make a difference. Be careful what you wish for, I guess." 3 days later, as their ship broke orbit carrying a delegation of Kondarai, the crystalline cube of ancient knowledge, and the first human to receive the imprint, Lily stood at the observation window. She watched Proxima Centauri be recede into the distance, thinking about how it had all started with a human girl slapping an ancient throne as a joke. Some jokes, it seemed, had universe-altering punchlines. "Ready to make history?" Dr. Hayes asked, joining her at the window. Lily smiled. "I think we already have. Now we just need to convince Earth that everything they thought they knew about human evolution is wrong, that ancient alien consciousnesses want to form a partnership with us, and that we need to completely redesign our FTL program before we accidentally destroy the galaxy." "Just another day at the office," Dr. Hayes said dryly. "You know," Lily said, watching the stars stretch as the ship prepared to enter FTL for the journey home. "When I was studying archaeology, I never imagined I'd end up as the bridge between humanity and its forgotten ancestors." "Life rarely follows the expected path," Dr. Hayes observed, "especially when one slaps ancient alien thrones without permission." Lily laughed. "I'll put that on my revised resume. Lily Barrett, archaeologist, genetic legacy bearer, and awakener of dragons." As the ship accelerated toward Earth, carrying news that would forever change humanity's understanding of its place in the universe, Lily felt the knowledge within her mind beginning to organize itself, preparing for the challenges ahead. The sky had filled with dragons, but that was just the beginning. The real journey, humanity's journey back to the stars that had always been its birthright, was only just beginning. And that was the end of the story. If you listened all the way to here, don't forget to leave feedback about what you thought of the story in the comments, whether positive or negative. Your feedback helps us improve. Also, leave your like and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. And I'll leave here on the screen another video that I'm sure you'll like. Big hug, and see you in the next story.